Hello everyone, this is Sani and you guys are watching Coding with Sani. In this video, I am going to show you guys that how to create a about me page just like this by using the HTML and CSS, in which I'm going to show you guys that how to use different kind of divs, how to position the images, then how to use different kind of font inside your HTML and CSS. So let's get started. I'm going to use the Visual Studio Code. Let me open that. First thing I'm going to do is to create a new page. Let me save it. Okay, so this would be our index.html. You can simply choose HTML from here as well. First doc type, then HTML. Inside this HTML, first thing I'm going to have is header and title. This would be Sani's. Okay, after that I will be having the body. Okay, next I'm going to create a CSS file. So Control N, and let me save it as a style sheet. But before that, I'm going to create a CSS folder in which I will be storing this. This is style and the type of this will be CSS. Okay. Now, in order to have the color for my website, open your browser and go to colorhunt.com, colorhunt.co, and from here go to popular. Now inside the popular, I'm going to use this color for and this color for my website. For the background, I will be using this color. Just click on it and it will automatically copy the color. Here I will be creating a body tag, background color, and background color would be the one I have copied from there. Then let me set the margin. Margin will be 0 from all sides, and set the center. Okay, after setting the text line center, now go into your index page, and here I'm going to connect our CSS with our index.html page. Let me use the link. A relation of our link will be style sheet. Okay, and reference would be we have stored inside the CSS, and that was style.css. Okay, in type it is optional, but you can set it, and then media for all devices. Okay, just save it. And now let me open the index.html into our browser so that you can see the changes. Here is our index page, and as you can see that style sheet has been connected with our page. Okay, the next thing we're going to set is this favicon. But before that, I'm going to get the resources which I'm going to use inside this web page. Okay, so I have copied the images that I will be using inside this page. So these are the different kind of images that I will be using inside our web page. So now I'm going to connect this favicon with our HTML page. To connect the favicon, just go over here, link, relationship would be of type icon. Okay, and here pass the reference. We have stored it into images, and that was favicon.png. Save it, and if I refresh our page, you would see that it has been appeared over here. Okay, so now let me open the mockup which is over here, and you can see that the first thing we will be creating is this nav bar for our page. So to create it, go back into your index.html, and inside the body I'm going to create a div and naming this class nav, and inside this nav I might be using an image and source of image. Let me check the name, that is about. Okay, so this would be images.about.png. Okay, let me set the alt, that was profile header pic. Next we are going to need free hyper reference. First would be work. Now let me copy this, and this was about and contact. Okay, now we will be using the same nav class inside these elements as well. So copying and pasting over here. Now going back into our browser. So these have been appeared over here, but now next thing we are going to do is to apply styling on these attributes. For that purpose, let me open our style sheet, and here I would be creating a class which is nav. First I'm going to set the height, that is 16 pixel, 60 pixel. Okay, then the background color, I'm going to use this background color which I have got from the colorhunt.co. Next thing is to set the margin, and margin would be auto. Okay, now if I refresh it, you can see that it has been applied to our image element and about reference elements, but these are not same as this one. So I'm going to make changes into our style sheet. Okay, the first thing you need to set is the image nav. I'm going to set that if an image element comes into nav class, then we will be using these properties. And what if an anchor tag comes into our image class, then what kind of properties we will be using. And for the nav, we will be using the width of 60 pixel, and at the same time I'm going to use the height of 60 pixel as well. Okay, for the nav of our anchor tags, first I'm going to set the font size, that would be 12 pixel. After that, let me set the position. Position would be relative with the bottom of 18 pixel. Okay, and text decoration that I'm going to use, we will be having the none. So if I go back into our browser and refresh it, you can see that all of the properties have been applied to our nav bar. But the things I'm going to do here is to set a margin between these, and at the same I'm going to change the color for these. Okay, so to set the margin, I'm going to use margin left, that should be 10 pixel, and at the same time color, and I'm going to use this color for our font color. You can see that it has been applied to our nav bar as we wanted to. It is similar as we have seen into our mock one. Okay, but I have not worked on the font, so I will be explaining in the later session. So for the time being, we are done with this session. Next thing we are going to have is this header and these clouds and this mountain image. If I go back into our index, now I will be having another div. This is for header info. Okay, and here I'm going to create another div inside it, and in this div I will be needing an image. After that we will have an h1. After that there would be a paragraph, then one cloud image, that would be bottom image, and then mountain image. Okay, so now I'm going to use a class inside CSS class, and I'm going to name it top container. So if I go back, let me copy this, and if I go back into our style sheet, now I'm going to create another class with the name of top container. The only thing I am going to set here is the margin top to 50 pixels. Now I'm going to put the content into our images. First thing would be I'm going to set the source, that was actually cloud png images and stored into images. If you want to see it, that's over here that I'm going to use, and this one the mountain image, and this is cloud.png, and alternative would be top cloud. Now I'm going to copy the whole thing and pasting inside these. Let me change this to mountain image.png, and this was mountain. Okay, and this is bottom cloud. Okay, so this would be a text, that would be I am Sani, and paragraph a programmer. Okay, so if I save and refresh our page into browser, you can see that all the images have been imported into our HTML page. But next thing we are going to do is to set properties of these cloud, this header file, up this paragraph, and this cloud. Okay, So if I go back into our style sheet, here I'm going to create a class that would be top cloud. Okay, and let me set the position. First element I'm going to set is the position, and position would be absolute, and I'm going to set the width to 30 pixel and height to 70 pixels, and right property to 300 pixel and top to 130 pixels. Now we have to call this top cloud class to our image on which we want to apply it. So I'm going to use class top cloud. If I go back into my browser, you would see that it has been applied over here. Next, we are going to apply the property to this cloud. For that, I'm going to copy this. Let me change the name. This is bottom cloud. The only thing we are going to change is this. This would be 350 and this would be left. Okay, let me remove this, and it would be 175 pixels. Now calling this class on the bottom cloud, which is actually this one. Now if I refresh it, you can see that it has been placed over here. Next thing we're going to do is to set the properties, CSS properties of this programmer and CSS. But before that, I want to show you guys that there is a default margin between the programmer and CSS. So I will be removing margin between these two. Okay. If we go into style and if h1 came into top container, then I will be having the margin from all side to 0, and then I'm going to use the color this color as a font color. Then we will be setting the font size, and I'm going to use 70 pixel as a font size. Now next step is to call this top container class onto our over here inside our image. This would be top container. Now if I refresh it, you can see that that has been applied over here, but later I will be changing the font according to this one, so don't worry about it. Next thing is to set our paragraph just like that. For that purpose, let me go over here, and if we use the top container class, then we will be having the margin from all sides 0 dpm, and here I'm going to create another class that would be pro class actually will create an effect like this. Okay, for that purpose I'm going to set text decoration to underline font. I will be using the font size 25px. Okay, and weight of the font would be bold. Okay, now I'm going to use this bold class inside our paragraph, but before that, here I will be creating a span, and I'm going to apply only this pro class to this pro of programming. If I hit save and refresh our page, you can see the effect over here, but still we can't get the effect of fonts as we have not applied the font onto this. Apart from the fonts, we have created almost the same thing as we wanted to create. Okay, we are done with our info section. Next we will be having this about section. Okay, in about section we will be having this image, then hi message, at the same time this matches, and at the bottom we will be having the horizontal row just like this. Okay, inside our div I will be creating another div, and this would be hi section. For that I'm going to create a div. Okay, and class here I will be using is about container. If we open our mockup, you can see we will be needing this an image view, then this h1, and then there is a paragraph over here. Okay, for that purpose let me create the image first, then we will be needing this h1, then paragraph tag. Into the h1 I'm going to call the source. Okay, so this is stored into images hi pic.png. Okay, and this is hi. Next I will be needing this paragraph, so I will be using this by using Control C and pasting over here. Now if I refresh it, you can see that image has been appeared over here, and at the same time our h1 and this first step is to apply the CSS for this one. Okay, so I'm going to create about container into our CSS. So go to CSS, and here I will be containing a class about container. First thing we will be setting is the margin to 0 and then background color white. Okay, next if an image come into our about container, then we will be using the width to 200 pixel, height of 200 pixel as well, then margin top of 20 pixel. Okay, but to use this class we have to copy this and use with it. That would be class. Okay, and alternative would be about pic. Okay, refresh it, you can see that the effect has been applied to our image. Next we are going to set the effect for our height, which is h1, and for the h1 only thing that I will be setting is the margin top to 20 pixel. And if a paragraph comes into our about section, then I'm going to use the margin at the top 20 pixel, then auto for the right side and 0 for the bottom and auto for the left side as well. Okay, font size will be 15 with the width of entire screen to 25%, or let's change this to 35%. Okay, now next step to apply these to our elements. So I will be using the class about container, and if I go into paragraph I will be using the same class. Okay, refresh this, you will see that the effect has been applied over here, but we are not playing with the colors and fonts yet, so it is not similar just like this, but we will be working on it real soon. Okay, the next step is to have this horizontal line. For that I'm coming over here and creating a div, and inside this I will be using a horizontal row, and here I would be creating a class hr div. Okay, and the same class will be used for our hr as well. Inside the style sheet I'm going to create that hr div. First thing you need to send is width to 100%, background color to white, margin 0 auto and 0 auto. That is actually top, right, bottom, left. Next thing you need to set the padding, that would be 20 pixel from top, 0 right, 20 from the bottom and 0 from the left, and height of this div would be 50 pixel. Okay, next if an hr comes into to hr div, then we will be having border style to none, but at the same time border style top to dotted, width would be 200 pixel, and border width would be 5 pixel, and the color will be light gray with the height of 10 pixel. Okay, so this is actually we are setting the border style to null, then we are going to set the top style to dotted, and with the width of overall width of the border will be 200 pixel, and border width, which actually is the width of our border, will be 5. This is the overall width of our whole element, and this is would be the width of our border. Then height of border will be 10 pixel. Okay, so if I save and refresh it, you would see that border has been appeared at the bottom of our page. Next thing we will be working is what can I do page, and at the same time we will be having these skill set into our page. To create this, first I will be creating an h1 tag, and that will be a div class for against that h1. So if I go over here, and this would be fill section, Let me create a div, and here I will be using the class what can I do, and inside this class I will be using an h1 tag that would be what can I do. Okay, now I'm going to create this class into our CSS, and we need to set is the width to 100%, then margin would be 0 auto 0 auto, and then padding bottom would be 10 pixel, and background color would be white. So I'm going to use the same class for our h1 tag as well. So just copy this and paste over here. So if I refresh it, you would see that we have created a what can I do tag over here. Next thing, we are going to create the skill set. For that purpose, I'm going to create two separate devs. Okay, first would be our class skill box 1. Okay, and inside this we will be using another div for an image. We will be having one image, one h2 tag, and one paragraph tag as well. So first I'm going to create this skill1 class, skill box 1 class into our CSS. Okay, for this just set the width to 100% and background color to white. The next is the skill class, the row 1, which is for the actually will be for this row in which we will be needing an image view, and header 2, and then this paragraph. If I copy it further from here and go into this, copy this and set the source for it, and this would be images. I'm going to use first I'm going to use this about page. This would be about png, and then alt set scale 1 pic. Okay, next we will be having this paragraph. Just copy it from here and paste over here. Now I'm going to use the class that was actually skill row 1. Skill row 1. Okay, for the skill row 1, first thing you need to set is the width, and width would be 50%, and background color would be white. Margin from the alt side will be auto, and text alignment this time I'm going to use text alignment to left side with the padding from every side to 10 pixel. Okay, now if we go back here and refresh it, you can see that values have been appeared over here. But now we're going to slide the style sheet for the image h2 and this paragraph. Okay, so if an image tag comes under the skill row 1, then we will be using the width to 10% of the whole div. Then we will be having the margin to 0 and auto, and float property will be left with the margin right to 20 pixel. Okay, so if h2 comes under the skill row 1, margin from all sides will be 0, and width will be 400 pixel, and if a piece comes under the skill row 1, then width would be 600 pixel, and from the all side would be 0, and font size would be 12 pixel. Okay, now time to apply this class to our elements. Just use the class over here. Now if I go back into a browser and refresh it, you can see that first skill has been created over here. Okay, next we are going to have this row for the skill 1. So I'm going to create another div here. The class will be skill row 2. Okay, and we will be needing the image tag, and here I'm going to use this pic. Okay, it is inside the images, so what I do pick dot png and alternative what I do pick. Okay, and then we will be needing an h2 and then a paragraph. In the h1 h2 I will be using this, and inside the paragraph I will be using this one. Now in the style sheet we will be creating another row here, another class, okay, with the almost same properties with 50% margin from all side to auto, and padding would be 20 pixels. So if an image tag element comes under the skill row 2, which would be 10%, and this time float option to right, and margin left would be 20 pixels. Okay, and if an h2 tag comes under the skill row 2, then the only thing we are going to set is the margin from all sides would be 0. Okay, if a p tag comes under the skill row 2, then width would be 600 pixel, font size would be 12 pixel. Okay, and margin from all sides will be 0. Okay, now next step is to call this class onto the element of our skill row 2. Now if I refresh it, you would see that skill row has been created, but this is not inside this one. This is because we have not created the container for our second skill. So to create that container, let me go back into our style CSS, and inside it, just before the row 2, I'm going to create another skill box 2 with the same properties as we have created for the skill box 1. Okay, and inside this we will be using another div before, and here I'm going to set the skill box 2 class. Okay, and now I'm going to cut this whole thing and pasting inside it. Okay, as we have created the skill box 2, so I'm going to use this skill box 2 with our h2 row. Okay, over here, control S, and inside this I'm going to use the skill box 2. But as far as the image is concerned, I'm going to use the skill row 2. So if I refresh it, you would see that our properties has been applied to our this image. Next thing we need to do is to set the margin for this. To set the margin, go into this, and inside this I'm going to set 0, and at the bottom then 0, and for the bottom I'm going to use the 10 pixel and 0. So if I refresh it, you would see the margin has been created inside it. So we have created the skill set. That is what can I do. Next thing is to have this hr below of this. So we have already created that hr. I'm going to copy this and pasting over here, like control C, control V. If I refresh it, you can see that hr, another row has been created over here. The next thing we will be creating is this I can help, and this is where we will be needing the h1, h2, and this paragraph. So it would be the next section. Here I will be saying that what can I do. Okay, so this is another div. We're going to create another div, and inside this we will be needing h1 tag, then h2 tag, and then we will be needing a paragraph tag. Okay, So here I will be using the class what can I do. Okay, now we will be creating this class into our CSS. To create this class, just use the dot operator to create the class. First thing you need to set is the margin and then background to white and width to 100% of the page. Okay, so if an h1 comes after what can I do, then we will be using the margin from all side to 0 and padding bottom of 30 pixels. That's it. And the same we will be using for h2 as well. Just change this to h2, and now we will be calling this class onto our different elements. First this will be applied to our first h1, then we will be use this to second h1, and here I will be using I can help. Okay, and for that I'm currently available for this. Okay, and this will go inside our paragraph tag. Next thing we need to set is the value of our paragraph if it come after the what can I do. First thing you need to set is the width to 30% and margin to 0 and auto, and padding bottom to 30 pixels. Okay, so now I'm going to apply this class to our paragraph inside the what can I do dev, and if I refresh it you would see that it has been appeared over here. Okay, in the next step we will be creating this button. Okay. For that purpose, open a website CSS button generated with icon and go into this one CSS button 3 button generator. Okay, okay, so we will be having a button like this. So I'm going to first I will be changing this to contact me, contact me, and I'm leaving the font family to Arial. And next thing I'm going to change is this font size will be same. We are not going to change the box properties, but border. First thing I will be changing the radius to 8, so we can have the shape of this rectangle type. Next thing I'm going to change the background color which I will be having a gradient. So starting color will be this hexadecimal value, and for the ending color I will be using this decimal value. Okay, so it is just like the same button as we have created, but next thing we are going to create is the hover effect. Okay, so let me change this to this value. Okay, and the end color I'm going to use this one. Okay, so next thing you need to do is to just copy this and paste inside your style sheet. Okay, now first thing I'm going to create is a button class over here. Okay, and after this I will be creating a div that would be for button. Okay, this div, and here I will be using the class btn, and inside this div I will be using a href, this is nothing, and inside this is contact me or message me, whatever you want to have in here, and the class I will be using here is btn that we just copied over here. For the button class, first thing you need to set is the margin 0. Okay, width to 100%. Okay, and then background color to white, and then padding top to 30 pixel and padding bottom to 50 pixel. So if I go into our browser and refresh our page, you can see that button has been created over here. Okay, the last thing we will be needing is to create a footer just like that. To create the footer, I'm going to create a new section here that would be for our footer. Okay, div, and here we are going to need 4 hyperreference, and instead of creating all these again, I'm just going to copy these from here and pasting in here. And at the end we will be needing a paragraph as well, in which I'm going to copy this whole sentence, pasting it over here. Now we are going to set the properties for this tab. That would be class, here would be footer. You can have any name over here, and this would be after the button. First thing I'm going to set is the margin to 0 pixel and width to 100%, and background color I'm going to use this color. You can copy the same value from here. Then padding from the top and bottom I will be using the 50%, 50 pixel, and then 0 on the other side. Okay, so if I refresh it, you can see that footer has been created over here, but we don't want to appear our navigation just like this, so I'm going to change this. So if a comes after the a uses the footer class, then text decoration would be none. Okay, color will be this color, and margin left would be 10 pixels. Okay, and text align would be center. But what about the paragraph? If paragraph uses the footer class, font size would be 12 pixel, padding on the top side and bottom side 10, and we will be using the 0 for the left and right. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the footer class instead of nav over here, footer. Okay, and on our paragraph tag I will be using the class footer. So now if I refresh it, you can see that it has been created just like our mockup. Okay, in the last step I'm going to apply the font for our about me page. To use the font, just open the website fonts.google.com, and here search the whatever font you want to use. For our website, the first font I'm going to use is Meriwether. Just click on it and add it. Okay, it will be added into your family selected. Next font I will be using is Mustard. Just click on it and add it as well. And third and last font that I will be using is Sacramento. Just add it into your family selected as well. And from here, the first step you need to do is to copy this link reference and add inside your head tag. Okay, after that I'm going to set the font for all of our h1s, paragraphs, and body. For the body I'm going to use Meriwether. Just copy from here and paste inside your body font text, and similar way use the other font for the h1 and paragraph. And here I'm going to create a default tag for h1 where the color will be this color for all the h1, and similarly I'm going to create a default tag for h1 in which we will be using the Montserrat as a font family and a background color like this. Okay, if I go back into our MOOC and refresh it, you can see that all the color has been applied to our website, but I have to change this color as well. For that purpose I'm going to copy this Sacramento font, and inside our style.css go to your top container h1 and paste this over here. And now if I refresh it, you would see that that font has been applied over here. Okay guys, that's it for our website design, in which we have created first navbar. Then I have taught you guys that how to create different section of your website, and at the same time how to use the absolute positioning with different attributes like top and left and bottom and right. Then I have teach you guys how to create this horizontal row. Then I have teach you guys that how to create a button just like this. Okay, so if you find any query or question related to this, feel free to ask into comment box. So see you guys in the next video.